Hey everyone, it's Jordan with Main Deck, and today I have quite the mountain of a deck for you guys for the My Hero Academia format. Let's just get right into it. How's it going, guys? Today we have another deck tech for you for the My Hero Academia format. Set 2 is the current set, and we're just going to get right into it. It's going to be a quicker deck tech than normal. It's a pretty straightforward deck. So it is a Mount Lady deck, and I've been wanting to make this for a while just because I like character stackers. Originally I did it off of Void. I wanted to make kick deck, but it seemed a little more clunkier than I wanted it to be. It wasn't bad, it just didn't go as fast as I needed it to be. But with set 2, we have a new option, and we're building it under good, and it's going to be it'll be a very cut and dry deck. It's a clean 50 cards, and it has one thing it does, and it does it quite well in my testing so far. And unless you're fighting, mountains of wall clings, you're gonna kind of just throw the opponent around, just tossing them. So we'll get right into it, starting with Mount Lady herself. We run 4 copies total, one of course being your starting character. The other 3 are going to be in the deck. As I mentioned, she's a character stacker. She's a 6-hander with 29 health, and she has 2 enhances. One you'll be trying to use every single turn, and the other one you'll also be using pretty much every single turn, as many times as you can anyway. So we'll start off with Enhance Commit. Add 1 copy of Mount Lady from your discard pile to your staging area face up. If you do not, you may add 1 card from your discard pile to your momentum. You cannot use abilities on additional Mount Lady cards or commit them to past checks. They basically just attach to Mount Lady, and they stack for her second enhance, which is discard 1 momentum. This attack gets +2 damage for each Mount Lady character in your staging area, and this is playable while committed. So you can already see the plan here. We're going to be stacking as many Mount Ladies as possible, boosting our damage up, and winning the game. You can also play Mount Lady from hand into the card pool, and then at the end of turn, since her name matches and her version matches, she will stack right on there as well. So you can either grab her from the discard or just stack her immediately. She is a 6 check, but it's definitely worth getting them up as much as possible. We'll start off with action cards because it's always the smallest bank, and then we have 2 copies of Plus Ultra. It's Plus Ultra. Most of you know it, most of you love it. Helps you with having good clean mid block. It also allows you to discard a momentum, which we should have fairly easy access for in this deck, to double your attack speed or damage. Just good all around, especially in a deck that can just gain itself momentum randomly during your turn. Another reason why it's very relevant, and I might increase the amount of Plus Ultras in here, is because we'll go to our attack lineup. All of our attacks share something in common because Mount Lady's ability does not have a restriction on what kind of attack you can amplify its damage on. So we'll start off with Overhead Reversal, 3 low for 4, throw, with an enhance to allow you to build a printed difficulty of 0 from your discard pile, committed, helping you build your stuff out. And it's a throw, meaning more often than not, they will be taking at least half the damage here. We're not worried about speed, we just want to throw them. And Mount Lady allows you to boost 2, 4, 6, or 8 if you have all of them out to this throw, making it, a pretty hefty throw on its own, and you'll be able to build something. It also has a high block, although that's not the most important thing here. It's the throw. 4 copies of Overhead Reversal. Going into Invincible Clasp, also 4 copies. Decent high block, 3 high for 3 damage. 3 damage isn't a lot, but we're Mount Lady, so we're going to say that's more like 5, 7, 9, or 12 damage. 11 damage. But you can also lose 2 health, and we have a fair amount to give it 3 more damage. Great throw on its own. Just going to be bonkers when you start Mount Ladying it every turn. It also allows you to discard 1 momentum after your rival plays a non-character enhanced during this attack to cancel it. Not terribly relevant, but if they're about to use a wall cling, you're just like, nah, you're not wall clinging this. You're taking the half, or at least you're going to use 2 wall clings in order to stop this attack. Again, like I said, it has throw, very relevant. We're boosting damage, we're throwing. Next one is Facepalm Takedown. 2 high for 6 damage. Again, with Mount Lady, it's going to be much higher than 6 damage more often than not. It also has a combo enhance with high block, which you'll notice the previous 2 are high blocks. 4 copies of this bad boy with the combo enhance after it's dealt damage, which is most likely going to happen. If you have dealt damage, very important distinction this turn, which again, most likely you will because every card in the deck is a throw. This will get +2 damage, a little more damage, and stun 1. So you can stun something or not. If they have a bunch of stun hate, maybe you just don't want to use it, but gets more damage. Always good to get more damage. So this is going to be an 8 damage throw, potentially a 16 damage throw. God, it's so disgusting. We also can run reverse throw 4 copies. It is a low block, so it gives you a little bit more block coverage. 2 mid for 5 damage. With 1 enhance, this attack deals 5 or more damage, you draw a card. With Mount Lady, as long as you have 2 in the field, it's going to get up to 9 or more with your different effects we'll have in the foundations, which we'll get to shortly. And this is going to be doing 10 or 5 depending on what the half block, so you have a good chance at turning this ability on as well to draw more cards to throw them some more. Now, that's our attack lineup. We're running a clean 50 in this deck. I really like to try to run clean 50s, specifically in the My Hero format. I know a lot of people like to run more. In regular universes, I generally ran more, but these last 2 decks in particular, I had a very clear and concise, like not necessarily combo, but clear and concise objective I want to make with the deck. So that's why they're clean 50. It has something it wants to do, and it wants to do it well and as fast as possible. You just want to throw the ever-living lights out of everyone. Just toss them into walls, toss them into the ground, toss them everywhere until they're down. So, foundations. We run a nice spam foundation, Manly Friendship, 4 copies. It has once per turn. This attack gets -1 or +1 damage. Helps on defense, just, getting a little less damage, and gives you that +1, 2, 3, or 4, depending on how many you have in your stage. And half of our throws, at the very least, are even numbers, which means getting +1 makes them on half block 1 more damage. The other 2 goes to, start off at odds, so you need at least 2 to pump the damage on a half block, but sometimes they just won't block 2, and that's more damage. We run 4 copies of Bonds of Friendship. Main reason is it's a great high block, it's a 6 check, and it's a spam foundation. And for at least half of the attacks in the game, its enhance of flip, fairy attack gets -3 damage is relevant. So it's just I include it in most good life and order decks just because it's, the effect is relevant half of the time, or more than half the time depending on who you're fighting, and 1 diff, 1 high block, 6 check just sounds great. We got 2 copies of Passing the Torch. You all know it, you all love it. Commit it, draw a card, no cards in hand, you draw 2 cards instead. Very potent effect. I generally run at least 2 under all these symbols because drawing cards is never bad. This deck in particular doesn't go to 0 cards in hand that often, so being able to draw 2 cards doesn't have as much, but commit to draw a card, still good in most cases, good enough to at least run 2. We got 2 copies of First Impressions. First enhance, flip. If this is your first attack this combat, it gets +3 damage. We're all throws, so that in most cases on half of our throws reads +2 on half block or +1 on half block, depending on what happens. And if it is blocked, next attack gets +3 speed. So on the off chance they half block your first throw, the next throw, most of these, have not all that great, but these 2, 3 speeds, getting 6 speed on a throw is not bad. And when you're making these throws huge, this is, just even better. They just can't block one of them. It's, very useful. So we have 2 copies because it's not the end all be all, but it is nice to just have in your opening first enhance. Then we got 2 copies of Taiyaki Phonetic. I may do more, but 2 at the very least in main deck is, I don't want to say needed, but very helpful. It has Response Destroy. After your rival play an enhance ability on an asset or foundation, you cancel it. There's a lot of foundation abilities that you don't want to happen. The main ones you're looking for is anything that reads, if this attack is blocked, it deals no damage. You cancel it. You throw everything, so you want to cancel wall clings and other things like it. as much as humanly possible. So that's why you want at least 2 in the main deck, potentially 2 more in the side deck if you're fighting someone who's particularly defensive or has some really potent abilities on the return that you might want to cancel. Basically, having the option to cancel an effect, very nice. It also gives some deadlock pressure. With Deadlock Enhanced, destroy, your rival discards a card. Not terribly exciting, but making them lose resource, whether it's a block or an attack, very helpful. Next, we got 3 copies of It Can't Be Fixed. It's a spam foundation, it has a great block, and it's stun hate. Helps you build more if they do stun you, and it's all around a great card. You see it in a lot of decks for a reason. Next, we got 4 copies of Self-Sacrifice. Great spam foundation, excellent block, and you destroy a foundation to give it +1 or -1 damage. Same reason why Manly Friendship is great. We just want to pump as much damage as possible into these throws to make them as potent as possible to just kill the opponent outright just by tossing him around. It also gives you the chance to defend a little bit if you want to just, with the combination of Manly Friendship and Self-Sacrifice, you can actually mitigate quite a bit of damage and Bonds of Friendship and just not block half the attacks they throw. It also helps you keep you out of deadlock. We do have quite a few abilities that flip foundations, so maybe you want to just destroy a couple of the committed flip foundations and then play some more new non-flip foundations at the end of turn and stay out of deadlock all at once. Then we got 2 copies of Specialist of Sound. After an attack is played, -3 speed. Very good to help you block stuff, and it reveals the top card after it's checked, making sure you know what the next check is. We don't have any deadly like 2 or 1 checks, but it's still nice to know if there's an attack coming so you can plan accordingly for the next play that you make. Then we got 2 copies of High Value Target. It's a spam foundation. It has some more low block, and it has if it's committed to pass a check to play a block, it counts as 2. So it just kind of helps you block a little bit more, and it has response before one of your foundations would be destroyed due to a rival's effect. You destroy this one instead, kind of basically just being a decoy for some of your other effects. We don't have a ton of foundation effects that are like must-haves, but it's still nice to just have your opponent not destroy something that you were hoping to use that turn. And it is a May because responsibilities are not, you don't have to use them, so you can also choose to just destroy whatever they want, or you can choose to destroy this, so it's nice to have the choice. And then we have 4 copies of Battle Resolve. 0 diff, so just like with It Can't Be Fixed, it's the only options for your overhead reversal to help you build stuff in. It has an okay-ish block. You can block anything technically, but a +3 mid, not the best, not the most exciting. And then it has response, commit, flip after you lose health, you gain 1 health. Probably not going to use that most of the time because instead you can enhance, commit 2 copies of this foundation, and this attack gets +3 or -3 speed, giving you some nice defense on the -3 speed, which is what you're mostly going to use it for, or in the off chance that you did, first impressions or something, or you just have a couple, you have all 4 in the field, or you just know that they can't block a 6-speed attack, or a 5-speed attack even in some of these. You just throw it out there, give it +3 speed, and then they can't block it and they take boatloads of damage. And yeah, quite a short deck here today. Like I said, this one has a very clear, doesn't have to be explained a lot. Most of the foundations are pretty clear and concise, nothing too crazy out of left field. You're just getting boatloads of damage and throwing people around the arena until they can't take it anymore. I definitely like this deck a lot. Hopefully you guys will like the deck a lot. I do know it takes Facepalm Takedowns, which currently are a little bit hard to get because there's not a lot of events that have happened, but as more events happen, these will become, just like the first set of Plus Ultra cards, will become very cheap to get on secondhand market, or you just have to play a couple of events and you'll net some yourself. And once you get all 4, you just toss them here and start tossing your opponent everywhere. Yeah. So, as stated every time, my side deck I will actually be saving for some Patreon exclusive content this time around, just to make the videos a little shorter. The deck techs are a little bit longer than we'd like, but we still want to get that content out to the people who want it. So you can see the cards here. They're not cards that I suggest being an actual sideboard. It's more the cards I consider adding to the deck or swapping certain cards out for it. It'll just require more testing for me to really decide out of this lot of cards and the cards in the main deck whether, you know, this might be better than that. They're very situational as well, so you can go ahead and take that list, look at it, or if you're a patron and want to become a patron, there'll be links in the description. You'll have my thoughts and descriptions of exactly why they're on that list of cards to be considered. And thank you to all the patrons who already support us. You can look forward to seeing the rest of that on the Patreon if you want more insight into the Mountain Lady deck that we have here. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of their day.